Man, the second you think this would go together, the second you think something would just be simple and easy and you can just put it together and be done with it, you can't. You can't. I don't know why. It just happens like that. Well, welcome back to the ZHP Garage, everybody. Hope you guys are all doing good. And we're going to show you what's been going on with the 65 Nova. We're having issues with the rear suspension going together. You know, you think it's a bolt-on kit. You buy it, it says bolts right on. Doesn't bolt right on. Nothing bolts right on. As much as you want to believe it bolts right together, it does not bolt right together. And we're going to show you why here in this video, why it doesn't bolt right together. So, we have done a good amount of work. We got the rear end finished up, cleaned up. We got the rear end fully painted. We got that thing all done, ready to go back into the car. You know, the brackets for the rear suspension welded on to the rear end. Everything's ready with that. So now we were like, okay, we're going to move on to putting the rear suspension together. But we ran into an issue, which you will see when we get with the master mechanic here in a second. So we also got the underside of the car partially painted. We painted it from where the rear bumper is mounted, you know, where the gas tank is, all the way back there to where the subframe connectors are. So we didn't paint the portion that we replaced, that you saw in the previous videos that we cut out and replaced with the patch panels. We haven't painted that yet. With all of that being said, we're going to show you these issues that we ran into with the TCI rear suspension and go from there. So let's start.
Hey, what's going on YouTube? I was just checking out the rear end here, game planning how I'm going to run the brake lines. Pretty much got it all together. I left the rotors and the calipers off of it. I'm going to put the calipers on it though, because these flex lines are indexed, so I need to know where they're going to be at so I can make the hard lines. But I'll take it back off before we put it in. But we got it all painted here, all set up. Got our panhard bracket and our lower control arms, coilover bracket, brake lines. So we're going to have a flex to a hard line. And our little bracket here for our brake line is normally supposed to go onto the bolt, but this torque link bracket is kind of in the way. So we just welded it right here. So we got it all set up here. Seems like it's missing something though. Like right here. I think, oh wait, I got it. It needs a sticker. It needs a sticker. Stamp of approval. Let's put that guy on there real quick. It's kind of weird though, because the torque link's kind of off-centered to the, well, we'll center it to the bolt. Careful. Oh yeah. There, now it's done. If you want to pick yourself up one of these, give us a little, hit us up, Instagram or Facebook. So let me show you what's going on with this rear suspension. So this little cross member bracket here, you see how it's, I don't know if you can tell, see how it's tapered, so it only goes one way, because on the passenger side it has your panhard. So these big ones here are your coilovers. The coilovers are in the front side of it, and then the panhard is a bracket that comes off the back and it hangs down for your panhard. So this is supposed to go up to the bottom of the floor. So this, you drill the holes, you bolt this to the bottom of the floor, then it has this bracket here. So after you put this in, then it has this little, goes on the inside. So this is on the inside of the car on the floor. So you bolt this guy up here, and then you would drill these holes. Bolt this guy up, so this would go on the inside of the unibody frame, right? And then this would go on the outside of the unibody frame. And then you bolt it together, so it holds it in place, and in theory, it's supposed to push up against here, and it doesn't say in the instructions, but I'm assuming you're supposed to weld it, because it's kind of pointless to have a bracket here for just to sit there. So I would assume that this would go up against here, and you would weld it. But the problem is we mini tub this thing. So we don't have, there's no outside of the frame rail anymore, because as you can see here, we notched the frame over to clear the 295 tire. So now we don't have outside the frame to go to. So this, I guess the torque link, I guess TCI thinks you're going to run a torque link on a stock, what's a Nova Go stock? A 225 60 15 tire on a torque link? That sounds like a great combination. So we're gonna have to change this configuration a little bit. So what we're gonna do is, it came with these plates, but it doesn't say anywhere in the instructions on what they're for. So now that these ones are too wide, because this will run, if this is bolted up here, this part of it is gonna run into the mini tub, because, well, the tubs, because now the tubs are over closer. So I can't use this. So I'm gonna take these, which it doesn't say anything of what they're for, and I got 2 of them. So I'm going to use this as a template. I'm going to mark the center, and then I'll drill these holes, and I'm going to use this on the inside of the floor of the trunk. So then I'll put this where it's supposed to be, where they want you to have it, and then I'll drill the holes. I'm going to bolt this guy in here like this, so it's tight and in place, and then after that I'm going to weld down both sides of this bracket to the inside of the unibody to give it the extra structure. And then more than likely I'm going to have to cut this back, because this pretty much hangs in to where the tire is going to be. So this needs to be trimmed back, so I don't have any rubbing issues with the suspension coming up and down and the tire hitting this bad boy. So that's what we ran into. We thought it'd be a simple bolt-in kind of deal made for a Nova, but this is made for a Nova with stock tubs. And you get your torque link, don't mini tub it, just run your little cute little tires on the back. So that's what I'm going to deal with now. I'm going to make these brake lines. I want to get this rear end all finished up out here. I don't want to do it underneath the car. And then I'll take the calipers back off. So this is going to be how we're going to install it into the car after I deal with this. So I'm going to take care of this off camera. I'm working on it a little bit, and then we'll bring you back and show you how we did it and how it turned out. So give you an idea of where this would go. The inside of the unibody is right about in this area. So these bolts here would bolt. This would sit here, so this would be the inside. So you could see that we can't go over far enough to get it. I mean, this bracket would be over like so, is where it would line up to be on the inside of the unibody. So I can't even use this because it's too wide to sit up here. So that's why I'm going to use this other bracket. So when I drill the holes, so it's going to sit about like so. And then I'm just going to reinforce it by welding it to the unibody like I showed down the side on both sides of it. So it'll be tied to the structure. I might do a little bit because it's up tight to the floor pan right here too, underneath on both sides. So I'll probably do a couple little beads. It has a little kick in it, so it's only right here is where it's up against the floor, then it drops down. It has a little more room. So I'll probably do couple short welds right here where it touches the floor, and then both sides of the unibody will bolt it here. And that's how we're going to remedy our little condition on our torque link here, our little coilover bracket.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that time lapse of us finishing up the brake lines on the rear end and also getting that bracket for the rear suspension underneath the car. We're going to pan over it a little bit here in a minute. First, I want to talk a little bit more about the stickers that the master mechanic put onto the rear end, and he talked about real briefly. So let me grab these stickers here for you guys. So we got the little guys. So the ZHP one is a 3x1 and this is a 5x1 sticker. And then we got the bigger ones. We got the big ZHP, it's the 7x2. And then we also have the big Ziegler Garage, which is a 10x2. So if you guys want to hit us up on Instagram or Facebook, the link is down in the description for both of those. You can follow us, check out our other stuff that we do, the stuff that doesn't make it to the full-length YouTube videos. Enough talking about that. Let's get back with the master mechanic and let's put the rest of this rear suspension back together.
So we got the rear end here ready to put it in. Got it all finished up. We still have the calipers just on here temporary. Got to take them back off to put the rotors in there, but got our brake lines made, all painted. Turned out nice. Got our flex line already on here. Just got to hook it up to the car, put our little clip in it. We just have the same bracket configuration. We just left the spacer in here, just give the bracket a little thicker, a little more strength, and then same bolts, so we didn't change that. I thought it was fine. These bolts hanging out. It's not in the way of the rotors or anything, so it's gonna work out good. And you can see here in the trunk how the plates turned out. We had to put the bolts up because the washers are too fat to fit on the bottom, so they gotta be up. And you can see that this isn't enough room because the other bolt line would have been over here, so you can't mini tub it if you plan on using this thing in original configuration. We got these holes fixed here in the trunk. Somebody had an electric fuel pump, got them straightened out. You won't see this when we're done. Once we do the spackle paint and stuff, it'll blend right in. We still need to clean up the surface rust on the trunk, but we're almost there. Take you underneath there, show you how we did this. Did the cross member for the coilovers. Check it out. So you can see here we got it. We got this in cut off, and remember that this is supposed to be on the outside of the frame. So this would this was supposed to come over, I think, weld onto here. So you can see with the mini tub, we had to bring it back. And we cut this back just so it wasn't going to interfere at all with the tire coming up and down. And you can see I welded it here to the unibody frame, and then I welded it also on this side on the inside and right here. You can see it's bolted. Maybe you see right here. It's all black. It's hard to see. See, we went ahead and bolted it where it's supposed to be to hold it in place, and then I went ahead and welded it on the front side and the back side. I didn't wind up welding it here. It fits tight, but I don't want anything to interfere with this is the coilover mount right here. So it should mount on the inside. I don't want anything to interfere with it. So it's just tied up against the floorboard, but it's not welded. I just welded it to the unibody, but it's really stout though. And then I just went ahead and painted it, touched it up because I had to sand it down. So that's where we're at on that. Put it all in. So we got the cross member in it, and you can see we got our trailing arms in it, all lubed, ready to go. These bolts are just hand tight, so when we get it at right height, we can tighten that up. And you can see that I cut that little, this wound up being, it's like a body tie down point, factory tie down point is what this was. So I wound up cutting that out. So now I have more up travel on my trailing arms, and then I'm gonna go into the bottom of the brackets. So I have them down as far as possible. So I have the most suspension travel, but the way this thing's set up, the way I set it up, it's pretty much as low as I can go. Only got like 3 inches of travel up here with the torque link bracket. So it's gonna be tight. It's a tight fit. Let's get this rear end here, man. Let's check it out. Let's get it in. So you can see from the time lapse and off the camera, we've been working on it for a little bit. We got the other side brake on it, tire and everything. We got the suspension, not all of it. We got the shocks tightened up, the panhard bars tightened up, the mounting point, the adjusters are still loose. We're just trying to get it, we're gonna set it on the ground. We're gonna get this guy on it. We're doing the driver's side rotor and brakes right now. We're gonna get this side finished up, and then we're gonna get the torque link on it. We got it set up here. The hole, we missed the part though. We gotta get this guy painted later, but we got the torque link set up. We're gonna get the brake on it, the brake on this side, the wheel, we're gonna get it set on the ground. You're gonna check out the ride height on this thing. It's gonna be trick. So let's get this last brake on here. So I like to just put a lug nut on it to keep it from flopping around on you like that. And we're gonna give our calipers a little lube, get the purple sauce.
I think it's an interesting smell.
It is, huh? It's like you want to eat it, but you don't.
I don't think you want to eat it.
You want to have a little snack, but you don't really want to have a little snack. This whole caliper's a little tricky to get on here. It tries to get a little crazy on you. And you lose your finger because you put it in here trying to hold it. So keep in mind, if you ever do this on your car, that this is a floater caliper, because you want to run, it's got to move because we have a C-clip. We still have C-clips in our axle, so our axle is going to have a little bit of movement. So you can't have a fixed caliper. It's not going to be too happy. So this allows the axle to float. So now we got it all together. We just got to throw the brake line on it. So I just put this brake line on this side. We have a little issue going on here with being too close to the spring because of the panhard bracket. So we're gonna have to add something over here to hold this brake line away from the coil spring. So we have to add that later. So now we got our caliper on here tightened up. Our brake line's all done, tight. So now we're gonna throw this wheel on here. We're gonna put this little pizza cutter on here. That steam roller. Don't even need to hold it up. You can just chillax. It won't even fall over. Your rear end's a little off center. Hold that thought a second.
12 seconds later.
Figured out the problem. I forgot my light in there. The tire fits good. We're just gonna run this down by hand for right now. Obviously, we're not ready to go for a drive. We just wanna set it on the ground. Check ride height. So now we're gonna put the torque link in it. Forgot to paint one of the little brackets here. This has a little bushing in here to bush it down for this size, and somehow one of them got lost, so we gotta get a bushing for it. But anyways, so we're gonna leave these off. We're gonna put them on, but we're gonna take these off here. We're gonna put the bottom piece on first. This goes on the bottom of the rear end. And then we're gonna screw this guy in. It goes to the front, so we gotta adjust it. This pretty much, you can adjust your pinion angle, but I set it up, the lower brackets to be level. And then I got 3 degrees in the pinion angle right now. So, I mean, this is just minimal adjustment. Once we get it all together and everything, all the weight is in the car, we're gonna scale it and set it up just so it's more balanced and neutral for a good, road setup. So I'm gonna pop this back off right now, just all sitting together, making sure we had all the parts. So I put some anti-seize on here, and you wanna wind up with the zerk on the bottom. So where you tighten it, you kinda wanna be able to get it to lube it. We don't know how long this needs to be right now. I already put the cross member in here that this bolts to, so it's already in the car. So I'm imagining that this needs to go all the way down because it has movement here. So I'm gonna just put this in hand tight. So I need to put this side in first because it goes up into that cross member. It has like a drive shaft loop. So I'm gonna slide this side in first, up in here. I'm just gonna put this bolt on here, just put the nut started. I'm not gonna tighten it down because I have to take this back out in order to finish the floor. I still have to do the seat mounts. So I just wanna put this in here to set the car on the ground and adjust the coilovers, the ride height. So I'm just gonna put it in here, put this, and then I'll get the back bolt in it. So I gotta scoot this underneath the car. Hopefully not scratch it up too bad. You see, this thing doubles as a drive shaft loop, and this hole for the front here is slotted. But you got to remember, if you're setting this up, when you're on it, this thing's your pinion is trying to drive up into the trunk. So this is pushing forward. So you have adjustment here, but you don't want to be in the middle because eventually it's going to wind up just pushing the bolt forward and it's going to mess up all your adjustment you have. So when you're said and done, ideally you'd want to be pushing up against the front of this bracket so your bolt already has load on it. But that's what we're going to have to figure out down the road here when we get it all finished up. Right now we're just trying to set it on the ground. So we're just going to slide this up in here. We'll throw our bolts in it. Then we're going to come back here. And we're going to throw, lower goes right here. Let me get my head underneath there. Give me a good squash. A lot easier if I could see what I was doing.
A few inches later.
All right, so we just had to shorten our lower control arms. We're all out of our adjustment, which I'm not really a big fan of because now the tires is more forward. I had it set where I wanted it, but this didn't have enough adjustment to put the rear end where I wanted it. But anyways, so we had to shorten up the lower arms. So we moved the rear end forward. So now we can get the lower bolt in here. So now we got the torque link set up here. So now we're gonna put those two upper arms in. They come from the top here, and then they come down here how I showed you how they're set up. So let me grab those, and that's what'll hold the rear end, the pinion angle in position, and then we can set it on the ground because then the rear end won't twist and try to fall over. Because this only holds it, front to back. The rear end still rotate on the lower trailing arms. So we need to put this in here before we set it on the ground. So let me grab those real quick. We'll get them thrown in here.
A few moments later.
I'm back into position. I got the parts here. So this is the one here that's missing the bushing, but we're gonna put it in here just to put all the parts. We're probably gonna have to order another little bushing for this guy. We're started on this side. So we're gonna start with the big bolt here. I don't know about this torque link thing. It acts like it's got adjustability until you try to adjust your rear end and then you don't have no adjustability. It doesn't want this angle, it wants it to be up higher, which is less pinion angle. So it doesn't like where I have the pinion right now. So it doesn't want me to set my own pinion angle. It only wants it to be where it wants to be. Even though it has heims on top there to adjust it. We'll see what it looks like on the ground. We'll deal with all this adjustment later. This is the one that's missing the bushing, but we just want to put it up here to keep track of the hardware. I'm just gonna run this on here, hand tight, and then I got this bolt right where it's starting to come through on the next bushing for this side. We'll throw this guy up in here. So get the bottom first, I would think would be easier. What in tarnations? So I got it in, got the passenger one, or what do we got here? The driver's side in. This is the one with the bushing. Obviously there's a lot of adjustment that needs to be done. I don't really care for the adjustability of it. I wish it was a little more adjustable. I don't like how I can't lengthen the lower arms and bring it away from the front of the fender a little bit, kind of center it in the wheel well, but we're gonna get on the ground. We're gonna set ride height. We got the coilovers at the lowest point right now. I think it's gonna work out good because we have a little more down, but I don't think we need to go down because we have about 1 inch that the body needs to come down. So I think once it compresses the spring, we're gonna be pretty close, but we got plenty of up for sure. And then you can see that the panhard bar is a little bit at an angle, but when the body comes down, that inch, hopefully, it's gonna be level. So it'll be in a neutral position. So when you hit bumps, it'll keep the rear end pretty much centered. We're gonna get the junk moved out of the way. We'll get this thing sitting on the ground. See what you think.
All right, it's the moment of truth. Hundreds of hours of work. We're ready to set this thing on the ground. Let's see how it looks. Let's check it out, man.
Crazy, jack pretty cut out of the bottom of that thing. Let's go do the front.
This is crazy. This thing's been sitting in this position in the same spot in the garage for over a year. And to see it go on the ground is like a leap forward. So much fighting. I don't think we've had a car fight us as bad as this one has.
Small leap for Nova, large leap for us. A lot of dirt under those stands. different being on the ground. You see it way up here.
Dude, it was such a mess underneath the Nova. Look at this. Okay. Ridiculous. What does that tell you?
Been sitting there way too long. Way too long.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now. It is dark outside. You know, it's the evening. We've been working all day trying to finish this up, get it on the ground for you guys, and show you. So, since it's so dark outside, I can't show you the rest of the car. So we're going to have to call it right here. You're going to have to wait. Wait. Sit and wait. It's been such a long day. I don't even know how to be excited right now.
I'm excited. It's on the ground.
I am excited, but it's hard to express because I'm tired. Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
Let me know what you think about that torque link. What do you think about the ride height?
If you guys are running TCI rear suspension or front suspension, let us know how it worked out for you putting it on your car. Let us know if you enjoyed putting it together, or you know, if you like the kit altogether.
Let me know if you're ripping reflectors.
It looks really good. It's sitting at a really good height in the back. So hopefully we'll show you guys that in the next video, and hopefully on to putting the front of the car together. Check the Instagram and Facebook down in the description, and hit us up if you want to.
Oh yeah, don't forget your stickers.
Get some merchandise.
Give me a comment. I'll see you next time.
And don't forget, stay tuned. See you guys.